Welcome to my one and only NFL mock draft. I don't do more than one full first round mock draft every year because I don't know, it's kind of find it boring to constantly keep doing first round mocks like every other week. I only do one per year, and this is my one and only 2025 NFL mock draft. Here we go. The Titans, with their first overall pick, are taking Cam Ward. The dude was playing Fortnite the other day on like a Twitch stream, I want to say. He listed his top four receivers as Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Treylon Burks. If that doesn't tell you he's going to the Titans, I don't know what will. Also, by the way, I know this is not PFF that I'm using here. I'm actually using a mock draft simulator that a mutual of mine on Twitter has created. I'll put the link in the description down below. Go use it. It's actually pretty solid. Moving on to the Browns with the second overall pick. It's between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter for like the past like 2 weeks now. We kind of know what the Giants want. The Giants want Abdul Carter. They've been kind of vocal about that recently. But we don't know what the Browns want. It's between both Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter for them. But I do think they take Travis. I think that the Browns are one of the few teams that are more than likely going to try to trade back up into the first round. By the way, no trades in here. I'm not just doing a straight mock. If the teams that are likely to trade up are like the Chiefs, the Browns, Giants, maybe those are the three teams that are more than likely going to trade up in this draft. And then one of the teams that's more than likely going to trade down is the Vikings because they only have 4 picks, but no trades here. But I do see the Browns trying to trade up in the first round to get either Shador or Jalen Milroe, one of the two. Going to the Giants, pretty simple. It's Abdul Carter. They've been kind of vocal about wanting Abdul for the past like week or so now. He tweeted out on Twitter the number hashtag 56, which is Lawrence Taylor's number. He's going to the New York Giants, and it's going to be horrible for every NFC East team because they have to score more than 9 points offensively, but you really can't versus their defensive line. Going to the Patriots, it's been kind of confusing what they want. We've heard a lot of rumors about Will Campbell going to the Patriots. Armand Membu's guy that's been quietly going up in drafts recently. They could also go defense. I think their linebackers are kind of good, but they could maybe use someone there, specifically also on the defensive line. Mason Graham's an intriguing prospect here. But I think they're going to go Will Campbell. They realize that Drake May has like no protection, and you really can't operate your offense around your second-year quarterback with like no protection on him. It's the biggest reason on why they didn't start him week one was because of how bad their offensive line is. So Will Campbell here at pick 4. Moving to pick 5, we're hearing Ashton Jeanty talks. I don't think he goes this early. I actually don't think he's going to go to the Raiders at pick 6 either. I'm going to talk about that right now. So I don't think Ashton Jeanty is actually going to Jacksonville. I think it's a smokescreen. It's either going to be Mason Graham, possibly Armand Membu, even though they drafted, who was it? I forgot the player. They drafted a tackle a few years back. I forgot the name of it. They could very well also go defense. This team has like no one outside of Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, and Jarian Jones and Jordan Lewis, who Jarian Jones was a guy of mine, and then Jordan Lewis was a former Cowboy. So outside of those 4 guys, they really have no one on the defense. They could very well go Jalen Walker. They could go Will Johnson possibly. But I do think they stick with Mason Graham. Their defense as a whole is not great, and just adding more room to that defensive line, which was already pretty good. Like Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker are 2 very good edge rushers, and people don't give them credit enough. I'm a fan of Mason Graham here. I think it's the pick. Raiders, they're not going Ashton Jeanty. I know it's the popular pick. I know it's been talked about a lot, but I just don't see him going to Vegas. Few reasons. One, this team is still far from contending. Far from contending. They're in the AFC West. Congrats. They got maybe the 3rd best quarterback in their division now. Maybe. They're still very far from contending, and I don't think Ashton Jeanty moves that much of a needle for me to say, oh yeah, they're going from the 4th best team in their division to the 2nd best. I'm not saying that you're going to get that good in one draft, but to take Ashton Jeanty here, you're asking for a lot. Also, it came out like what the contracts are going to be for like the top 10, top 12 teams. He would be making like the 6th, or he'd be like the 6th highest paid per average year, I believe, or just in general highest paid running back in the NFL. I don't see that happening. I don't. And recently we've heard a lot of reports about Armand Membu, and I do think that is the pick. I think a lot of people are really buying into this hype that Ashton Genty is going to go at 6. I don't believe it. I just think it's kind of a smokescreen, or they're just trying to confuse teams like the Bears to possibly try to trade up. I don't see it happening. I don't see Ashton Genty going till about the Chicago Bears. Jets. Tyler Warren has been a guy that I've been talking about recently. I know they could very well go defense. They lost DJ Reed in free agency. They can go like Will Johnson. They could go Ashton Genty possibly as well. But I think Tyler Warren adds just another passing element to their offense. Right now, all they really have is Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard. Who's scared of Alan Lazard in 2025? Tyler Warren adds another pass catcher for Justin Fields. They could go offensive line, but I think with Armand Membu off the board, they're going to go Tyler Warren. Panthers. Recently, we've heard reports that it's between two people, Jalen Walker and Tetairoa McMillan. It's between those two for the Panthers. I have them going Jalen Walker because he's available. I'm not like super high on Jalen as a prospect, but I do see a lot of potential. I hate using that word. Potential coming out of him. He'll be more of an edge rusher for them than a linebacker. I don't see him playing more than just edge rusher for them. Like, he's gonna be kind of have that like Micah role. Micah was drafted as a linebacker, played a little bit at linebacker in the beginning of his career, and then he transitioned to like full-time edge. I can see that with Jalen Walker. I just think that he needs to work on his pass rush a lot because it's not great. Going to number 9, a lot of people are talking about Shador, the New Orleans Saints. I don't see this either. I think it's another smokescreen. Not like an insane one, but I do see it as a smokescreen to convince like one of these teams right here to trade up super high. I don't see Shador. I don't. I think if they're drafting they're gonna have Spencer Rattler like play this year. If he's good, great. If he's not, guess who's probably gonna go into the draft next year? Either Arch Manning, or they're probably gonna take Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. And we know how much Saints fans like our LSU guys. One of those two is gonna be one of the New Orleans Saints next year if Spencer Rattler doesn't work out. So I don't see the Saints taking Shador here. What they do end up taking, though, I don't exactly know. This team kind of has a lot of needs. I've been thinking about, like, O-line, possibly. It's just hard because, again, this team has a lot of needs. Like, a lot of needs. They're kind of bad everywhere. I could also see them going, like, Ashton Genty or a Tetairoa McMillan because they have no receivers outside of Chris Olave. I mean, who else do they have? Like, MVS? Like, they don't really have much. I kind of thought it over a little bit. I think they're going to go Will Johnson here. They don't have much corners. They lost Paulson Adebo in free agency. And they could go like, and they have Kool-Aid McKinstry. I know they just drafted him last year, but I don't think his rookie year was that impressive. So outside of Alontae Taylor, they don't have anyone in their secondary. Yes, there's concerns from Will Johnson about his health, but I don't see it as that big of an issue. Number 10, Ashton Genty, obviously. They're not going anyone else but Ashton. They're probably on their knees hoping that the Raiders don't take him. They might trade up to get Ashton Genty. We don't know. I feel like they're going Ashton Genty, though, regardless. Again, I don't see the Raiders taking Ashton. I think it's kind of a big smokescreen across the league. 49ers, I have them going O-line. If they don't go O-line, they're cursed. This team realized that, okay, we can't block anyone outside of Trent Williams can be like their only saving grace, and he's getting up there in age. I know they have Dominic Pooney, but again, they have no one for Brock Purdy to block, and they saw what happened. He got hurt, or he just didn't have a good year. They're going to go Kelvin Banks here. I know he plays the left tackle. He might learn behind Trent Williams, possibly, but I would be very surprised if they don't go anything outside of tackle or guard. They could go Tyler Booker as well, but I just don't see them going anything else but O-line here. They're probably paying Birdie, and if they are, they need to protect him. Dallas at 12. It's Tetairoa McMillan. This is kind of a sneak peek to my final Dallas Cowboy mock draft coming out probably sometime this week. They're going to go T-Mac if he's there. If T-Mac isn't there and he gets taken by like a team like I just mentioned, the Panthers, they might trade back. I don't think they're going to reach on a guy like Matthew Golden, even though they're probably very high on Matthew. I don't think they're going to reach on him. So I think that at 12, there's two guys, maybe three that they're interested in. Those being Tedrow McMillan, Ashton Genty, and then I think like Tyler Booker maybe. Other than that, I don't know. I'm talking about everyone else, but Tedrow McMillan is the guy for Dallas at pick 12. Miami, they're probably going trenches here. At least I'd hope they go trenches. I don't really know why they wouldn't. They're not great outside of the trenches. And really outside of, they're not good in general. And truthfully, if they do believe that Tua is their guy, they need to give him some sort of protection. Teron Armstead retired. I have been going Greg Zabel. He's actually one of my favorite tackles in this class. He's going to transition to guard, but honestly, I liked what I saw from him at tackle. He's a mauler in the run game. He's going to give Devon Achane a ton of stock. I'm a fan of Greg Zabel. I love what I saw from him. Colts, their guy is probably Tyler Warren. See, he's been mocked there a lot, but since I have the Jets going with Tyler Warren, I'm going to go with Jahad Campbell. I think Jahad Campbell is a very good prospect. I'm very high on Jahad. I think that overall he has one of the best ceilings in terms of defensive players in this class. I really like what I saw from him, and he has a pretty solid floor. I know they have Zaire Franklin, right? But outside of that, they have no one else in their defense. They could go O-line. They could have went like Tyler Booker, because they did lose Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. But I think that they want to improve their defense a little bit. They'll go Jahad Campbell. Falcons, edge rusher, Shamar Stewart probably. It's between Shamar Stewart and Mike Green for me here. Whichever one, or Michael Williams. They like, Georgia. Now I thought about it a little bit. I think they're probably going to go Michael. Obviously, Atlanta, Georgia, there's a connection there. And again, they just need edge. They just need someone to rush the passer. They haven't had a good edge rusher in 4 years probably. They need someone there. Cardinals, they could do some interesting stuff. They are a team that have a lot of good, not a lot of great. And they could go wide receiver. Because outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., they have Greg Dortch. They could go Matthew Golden here. They could go defense as well. They could go corner. Thought it over for a little bit. I think they're going to go line here to protect Kyler Murray. I'm going to have them going Tyler Booker. He's an all-around very solid guard. He has a great floor and could have a pretty good ceiling. I just think they're going to want someone to help protect for Kyler, because a big problem for Kyler since he's been drafted is that he has a great beginning of the year, but as soon as one tiny injury comes his way, he falls apart, and you saw it this year. They were at one point leading the NFC West, and then they went to third in the division. So I think for them, they want to protect Kyler Murray as much as they can. They'll go Tyler Booker. Bengals defense. They need to go defense. Shamar Stewart is my pick for them. Without a doubt, probably one of the more questionable players in this draft. I'm not super high on Shamar Stewart. I know people who are. I'm not personally super high on Shamar. I think that a lot of his hype has came from the word production, and that whole phrase has just been so redundant to me. He is great film. He has great film, but I just don't care too much about film. I do care about film. I honestly care about it more than stats. But at some point, you need to get to the quarterback, and that's a problem. So, Shamar at 17. Seattle Seahawks at 18. Probably O-line, and they'll probably go with Josh Simmons. I did a backup mock not too long ago to kind of give my opinion on it, and then I kind of changed my opinion over time. Josh Simmons is my pick here. I know they have they drafted Abraham Lucas and I forgot the other guard. But the left tackle hasn't been too great for them that they drafted pretty high in the 2022 draft. He had a good rookie year, hasn't really been able to live up to that. And I think Josh Simmons can bring some versatility to their offensive line if they want Sam Darnold to succeed, they need to protect him. So Tampa at 19, Jahdae Barron. They need help on the defense. Outside in their secondary specifically has been bad. Outside of like Zion McCullum, but even he hasn't been too great. They need help in that department, and I think Jahdae Barron adds versatility there. Obviously, there's concerns if he can play in the play outside or not, or is he just a slot guy. But truthfully, I mean, I don't really care too much about versatility, like if he can play outside or not. This guy is a do-it-all safety, and I'm a fan of what I did see from Jahdae. Broncos, running back, probably, or receiver, one of the two. I don't like the tight end. I could see them going Matthew Golden. I could also see them going Luther Burden. But the guy that's been mocked to them a lot, and I kind of agree here, Omarion Hampton. They let go Javonte Williams. Audric Estime did not play as much as people thought he would. And overall, I think they could wait a little bit for a receiver, especially with where they'll be positioned in the second round. Probably, I don't know if they have a second round pick. I'm just assuming they do. They'll probably be able to get like a pretty good, like I like Kyle Williams or something like that in the second round. So I could see that happening for the Broncos. Pittsburgh, Shador's been watched here a lot. I don't know. To me, if the Steelers are taking a quarterback, I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of thinking Jalen Milroe here. I really think that they could possibly go Jalen Milroe here. Will they go quarterback? I don't know. Because it's interesting, like how this team already did this, like, 2-3 years ago? When they drafted Kenny Pickett, they drafted a quarterback with like a mid-20 pick. Do we really think they'll do it again? Maybe. I could also see them going like Malachi Starks, to add to their DB room. But just thinking it over real quick, I don't think they're going to go Shador. Could Shador fall out this? Sure. I think I do have him falling out. But honestly, some team will trade up to get him. But again, I'm not doing trades. So I have them going to Mecca Mbuka here. I know they addressed wide receiver with DK, but to be fair, DK and George Pickens kind of play the same role. And there's rumors that George Pickens could be traded because they don't want to obviously pay him that contract that he'll probably get this offseason or next offseason, which is fair. So he could be traded as well. And I think Emeka just adds slot versatility for them, for whoever their quarterback's going to be. Yeah, I'm a big Emeka Buka fan myself. I had him originally as like my third favorite receiver. I think he's maybe my fourth, but still one of my favorite guys in this class. Chargers at 22. I feel like everyone kind of knows this. It'll be Colston Loveland, great pass catcher for Michigan, and obviously has the Jim Harbaugh connection. I feel like this is like one of the most surefire picks in this class. I don't see them not going Colston Loveland. Truthfully, they really didn't address the wide receiver position much in the offseason outside of Mike Williams. They're going to go Colston Loveland. Packers at 23. Mike Green is kind of screaming to me here. I won't lie. He's kind of screaming to me. They've drafted a ton of edge rushers recently, so I don't know what they would want. Maybe they go Matthew Golden. Like, I don't know what the Packers want. Truthfully, they're a team that are so confusing in drafts because they have needs, and they don't address those needs. Let me see what they have for corner here. Let me see what they have. I don't know. These aren't Maxwell Harrison, maybe, but I think they wait. I'm going to go Matthew Golden. For them. I think they finally addressed the wide receiver position. Again, they haven't addressed it recently. The last time they really addressed it pretty early on was Christian Watson, and he's been good when he's on the field, but when he's not, they have no one. I think they finally addressed the wide receiver position with Matthew Golden. 24, the Vikings. Again, I think they're a trade down pick, so in no way in hell is this going to be a right pick, but I do, if they don't end up trading back, they'll probably take a corner, and they'll probably go with, not cornerback, they'll probably take someone in the secondary, and it'll be Malachi Starks. He helps their DB room a lot. He'll learn behind Harrison Smith, who will probably be retiring after this season. This is a great pick for them overall. He's had some injury issues, and this past year wasn't great for him, but Malachi's a great prospect. Houston, who do I have here? Josh Conley. I think that'll probably be their pick, unless I see if they see something else. Donovan Jackson's not bad, great versatility, but I think overall Josh Conley is their guy. If they're able to get him, they might trade up. They're another team that could definitely trade up, them and the Chiefs, just because they need tackle, and there's not going to be too many great tackles past like 14. So they're a team that could also trade up, but I think, again, no trades here. Josh Conley's their guy. Rams at 26. Definitely could go corner here. I think that will be their key. They've addressed a lot of the defense. I think linebackers also in play. They really don't have great linebackers on their team right now, but I think Carson Schwetzinger is not going to go till about like mid round 2 possibly. So I'm gonna go cornerback here, and I'm gonna go Maxwell Harrison. They could maybe trade back as well. I don't know, but they need to address corner. They have what that one Durant dude and Ahkello Witherspoon. Not great. Baltimore, James Pierce Jr. makes a ton of sense here. They're a team that loves just developmental guys. He could very well sit for like a year or two, develop, and become a great edge. They love doing that with their players, so I think that's another surefire pick. Lions at 28, I'm going to have them go Mike Green. Originally, I had them going Donovan Izurike, but I hope I pronounced that right. But I guess I kind of forgot, either if I got or I changed my draft up a little bit. I'm having them go Mike Green here. He's very good. Obviously, there's concerns over where he played, that being Marshall and other things like that. He's a little light, but overall, the Lions need help defensively on the edge, because when Aiden Hutchinson went down, they really had no one, and when they traded for Zadarius Smith, he didn't do anything, at least from my recollection, so they could very well use someone on the opposite side of Aiden. Mike Green's a good player. Washington, they could go Donovan Izurike. They could go them. They could go Luther Burden. It's between those two for me. They need to get better at the edge. They had lost Dante Fowler, who was a great edge rusher for them, and I don't think they addressed it too often, or at least too much in free agency. Luther Burden matches their team a lot in terms of like his skill set, but do they want to draft him even though they just picked up Deebo Samuel? I don't know. It's between one of these two. There are rumors that Luther Burden could fall out the first round. I'm going to go Donovan. Yeah. I'm very iffy on that pick. I'm very iffy. I won't lie. It's between him or Luther for me. I think he falls out. Also, yes, Derek Harmon will fall out as well. There's reports of that as well. Bills, I think they're the ones that are going to steal Luther. Possibly. They have Keon Coleman, who I love. They just paid him. Khalil Shakir, forgot the name. They could go receiver here. They could go D-line. We can go like Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan. By the way, I'm not high on Kenneth Grant. That's why he's kind of falling out for me. I'm not super high on Kenneth Grant as a prospect. After a little bit of thought, I realized they have no corners. They just signed Trey White, I believe. But Trey White in 2025 does not scare anyone. And when you're trying to play the Chiefs, you kind of need help in the corner room. I'm having them go Trey Amos here. I actually love Trey Amos. He's a very good corner. I don't know why he's not getting enough love, honestly. I think they do go corner. Maybe they go Maxwell Harrison if Maxwell Harrison is on the board, but I think I'm gonna have them go Trey Amos here. Chiefs, again, they're probably gonna try to trade up for any offensive lineman. Truthfully, I guess Donovan Jackson, just because again I don't really think they're gonna do anything else but try to improve their O-line since they also traded away the guy for the guy for the Bears. I'm blanking on names right now. I'll go Donovan Jackson for them. And for the Eagles, probably either Nick Scorington or Walter Nolan. even though they have a lot of defensive tackles, they could also go edge. They could also go edge. Why is Jackson here? I don't know why. Where is he? Nick Scorrington's listed as a defensive lineman. I think he's more of an edge. I'll have him go to Nick Scorrington here. And that is my one and only NFL mock draft. I can't really zoom in. Overall, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I'll try and have draft coverage of the first round after the NFL draft. Day one ends. Again, is this the right list? Probably not, because if it was, I would be working at ESPN. The stuff's going to change. This is a very unpredictable class. Teams are going to try to trade up and down. Again, for me, the teams that are more than likely going to try to trade up, the Chiefs, Texans, Browns, and Giants. Those are teams that are going to try to trade up, or at least try to trade back up into the first round. There's going to be a lot of possible trades going on this day. Not everything is for sure, but I think this will be my one and only mock draft. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. More draft coverage on the way.